Hello everyone, thank you for the opportunity to present our research. Our research explores what drives informal MSMEs in Bandung to adopt CRIS. We focus on three key factors: attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control to understand why adoption is still limited and how it can be improved. In Indonesia, MSMEs play a vital role in the economy, but many informal MSMEs have not yet adopted CRIS despite its promotion as Indonesia digital payment standard. The problem lies in the fact that most previous studies focus on formal SMEs, overlooking informal ones that face limited resources and rely heavily on personal relationship and informal networks. This makes it critical to understand what truly drives their adoption. Our research gap highlights two issues. First, the lack of focus on informal SMEs, and the second, the limited geographical scope of past studies. From this, we formulated our research question: which factor among attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control most strongly influence informal SME's decision to adopt CRIS in Bandung? The objective is to determine the most influential factor. The literature review combines the technology acceptance model and theory of planned behavior. Attitude refers to one's favorable evaluation of adoption, subjective norms capture social pressure, and perceived behavioral control reflects how easy or difficult adoption seems. Previous studies show these factors play a major role in digital payment adoption. We choose Bandung because of its large informal sector, such as street vendors, food carts, and parking attendants, where CRIS use is rapidly growing yet underexplored in research. Our framework integrates TAM and TPB, proposing three hypotheses. Hypothesis 1, attitude positively influence intention to use CRIS. Hypothesis 2, subjective norms positively influence intention. And hypothesis 3, perceived behavioral control positively influence intention. In summary, this study is important because it addresses a gap in research by focusing on informal MSMEs, a group critical to Bandung's economy, and aims to identify the key behavioral factors that drive or hinder CRIS adoption.
Next, in our research methodology, we use the research onion framework to guide the process. First, our philosophy is positivism, since we aim to test established theories using objective measurements and also statistical analysis. Second, our approach is deductive. We start with existing theories such as STEM and TPB, then test their applicability to informal SMEs in Bandung. And third, our strategy is a survey because it allows us to efficiently gather standardized data from multiple respondents. Fourth, in terms of research choice, we apply a mono-method quantitative design, relying entirely on numerical data from questionnaires. And fifth, our time horizon is cross-sectional since data were collected only once during August 2025, capturing the current state of CRIS adoptions. Finally, for data collection and analysis, we use structured online questionnaires and analyze the data with Smart PLS. After defining our overall research methodology, the next step is to explain how we selected our respondents, and this is covered in our research sampling design. Our target population is informal SMEs in Bandung. In West Java, there are around 4.63 million SMEs, with most of them being micro enterprises. And due to no complete database of informal SMEs existing, we use purposive sampling. Respondents were selected based on three criteria, and the sampling unit was therefore the owner or key decision maker involved in daily operations and payment decisions. And for the sample size, we selected 50 respondents. This follows Roscoe rule of thumb, which suggests 30 to 500 is adequate for behavioral research. And previous CRIS adoption studies in Jayapura City also used 50 respondents, so our sample size is both feasible and methodologically sound. And the next step is to explain how we measure each variable in detail. And in this study, the main concept we measure is the intention of informal SMEs to adopt CRIS. This concept is formed by three dimensions which come from the theories, and each dimension is broken down into elements and then translated into indicators which become our questionnaire items. And next, we move on to the next questionnaire design. Our data collection instrument was a structured online questionnaires created with Google Forms and distributed through Line and WhatsApp during August 2025. And the questionnaire measured four variables. All questionnaire items were adapted from previous studies and measured with a 5-point Likert scale.
Next, for the chapter 4, which is data analysis. The first one, reliability test. The reliability was evaluated using composite reliability, and our four construct demonstrate a strong reliability surpassing the threshold of 0.7. The second one, the validity test. The validity was assessed using the average variance extracted, or AV, and our four construct achieve validity with all of its values surpassing the minimum requirements of 0.5. Below is the research construct reliability and validity table. And next, we move on to the PLS SAM calculation and hypothesis testing using bootstrapping. From the calculation, it gives us some key findings. The first one, attitude toward using has a highly significant effect. So hypothesis 1 is strongly supported. The second one, subjective norm had a weaker marginally significant effect. So hypothesis 2 is partially supported. And the last one, the negative effect of perceived behavioral control was not statistically significant, meaning hypothesis 3 is not supported. And below, there is a table of p-values from the calculation. And lastly, chapter 4, conclusion and recommendation. So, what is our final conclusion? The decision for an informal SME in Bandung to adopt QRIS comes down into one main thing, a strong and positive belief that it will benefit their business. So, based on that, our recommendations are simple. The first one, for policymaker and payment provider, they should focus on changing attitudes by framing QRIS as a tool for future growth and highlight its simple low-cost setup to fight the perception of it being a hassle. The second one, for future research, we recommend digging deeper into that comprehensive effect within the view to really understand the mindset of established informal SME business. That's all from our research. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next one.